Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking all about villager yards. I'm going to run through and showcase a whole bunch of them so that you can get inspired for when it comes to decorating your very own gardens, yards, whatever it is you want to do for your villagers on your island. Don't forget to like and also subscribe for more Animal Crossing content, but let's get into it. For number one, we have a cute little bakery build. This one is kind of in a town area, so there's some nice medieval walls at the back. And then of course we have the bakery counter, which has some really nice looking cakes, delicious, and obviously an antique cash register as well so that people can purchase them. There is a few little tables dotted around. I didn't want to fill it up too much because I still want it to be accessible to get into the house. And then the kind of road breaks off into the main road so you can get around the rest of the island. The menu board is a must for a bakery. I do think this whole pink scheme is very specific to this island, but you can definitely mix it up if you want to. Number two is a staple build that makes a great villager yard. This is of course an orchard. This one is a pear orchard because this island was very green and white, quite spring core, and I kind of went to town with making it feel really compact, like I wanted as many trees as possible. I've said this before when making orchards, but make sure that you get in those little details like ladders, buckets, boxes. I've even added in a little table here, but it's those things that kind of change it from an area with just loads of fruit trees to an actual orchard. But I love it for a yard, and I even did add like a little shed area at the back as well next to the house. This next yard is super effective and really easy to do. It's just a super simple like flower garden, flower field, and I love mixing lots of different colors around. So here I've done the blue and white because this is on my coastal town, and then at the back there's like windmills and some balloons just to give it some detail because this is at the very back of my island. You could put cliffs up there as well, just play around with the heights a little bit just to enclose it in. That would look really nice. In the actual field itself there is like a little seating area and also a little pond just to kind of break up the flowers. You don't have to have it all flowers, you can mix and match if you want to. Number four is definitely more suited to a holiday or Christmas wintry themed island because it is a present wrapping station out front of a villager yard. So I've just placed this little table and stool set up just a little bit in front of the yard because there wasn't much space here, but this combination looks really cute. I've added in a little gnome to act as the elf, and then there's dropped wrapping paper everywhere, presents strewn around, and obviously the box with all the little tape and wrapping supplies in there. I just love the way that it looks. Very cute, very cozy, and yeah, maybe this would be smarter to do indoors, but why not have it outdoors in a villager yard as well? Number five is a yard sale. I think this is a great idea. It's super cute, and all you need to do is kind of lay out random bits and pieces that you may have in your storage. I know you have some that you may have got from balloons or just random bits you've bought in nooks and you don't know what to do with them. Well, make a yard sale. I found this yard sale sign on the custom design portal. I just typed in yard sale and this one came up, and I thought, yes, this works really nicely, and then just dotted things around so that people can come by and drop in and just buy stuff. Cute idea. I think it works really nicely, and any villager could have a yard sale. It doesn't have to be one specific type. Number six is a foresty home. This was on my autumn court island. It's nothing too spectacular, like there's not loads of decor here, but I just wanted to show that you can you don't have to go to all that effort of like fully decorating the whole area. You can do it quite simply. So the trees surrounding the whole area make it feel really foresty, and then there's lots of foliage. There's even a little bunny rabbit here to represent like the forest animals. Dropped leaf piles as well, just to add something as well. I don't know, just the foliage and everything kind of works well. And then because I wanted it to feel like a villager home and that it just wasn't totally natural, I did just add in a seat, which I felt kind of goes with the whole vibe of the area, and somewhere to drink some tea because why not? Number 7 is a take on a resident rep home, which you could do as a villager home as well if you wanted to. So what I've done is I've expanded on the actual house by using some of the castle towers and the side walls. I wanted it to feel more like a mansion, and I think that this kind of looks like it extends out a bit. Top tip for when doing this is try and find colors in the walls and the towers that match your exterior of the house that you're trying to work with. And then out front of it, there's just kind of like a regal, elegant kind of yard area. So we've got the fountain, some potted plants and some benches, because I wanted it to feel quite put together, and I think that this does. The next yard is a cute little kind of sewing spot. I love all of the sewing items in the game, so when I have opportunity to make a sewing spot, I definitely will. This one was on my coastal town, so it has that blue and white theme, but I think it works nicely and you can definitely adapt it to your color scheme if you wanted to. I love using the fabric table because I think it kind of fits in nicely because everything's like fabric orientated. There is another little seating area out the front over on the left hand side, and that was purely a space filler. The other thing I want to talk about is this yard is it does clearly show off my love of adding doormats in. I love having them in, and sometimes you just have them off to the side, but I kind of like that look, specifically when I have like a natural path flowing as well, so I think that works well too. The next yard is in quite a structured area, so it was quite hard because I had quite limited space and I wasn't sure what to do. So I decided to go for a little gardening area, little potting area. So on the left hand side, there is quite a lot of like the baby plants, all ready to be looked after, watered, fertilized, etc. And then on the right hand side, there is the mini greenhouse, which I kind of added in some more details there. There is a few little trees around and just a few kind of flowers dotted too. I did mix and match the path here, and there's a few different custom designs just to break up the area because I couldn't really add any more items, so the custom designs help make it feel a bit more fuller. Number 10 is a house that I made specifically for Hans on a winter island, and it's kind of like a mountain house at the bottom of like the whole backdrop. This is perfect for him, but I think you could amend it to different seasons. Maybe you could have it like as a spring house, all like sunken down, and then the hills and the cliffs all surrounding it on the outside. It was a little bit hard to kind of make sure that I had the cliffs looking full, so definitely make sure that you have enough room if you're going to do this. Don't forget to add like vines and lots of different things on the cliffs to make it feel super full. You can have a little bit of space at the bottom as well, just to do a few little decorations. The word of warning here is though, your villager will be trapped. So I pretty much have trapped Hans in the mountain, which I'm not mad about, but it's just a little bit funny that he just walks around in circles all day long. Number 11 is technically a neighborhood, but there is so many different aspects to this whole little neighborhood that I just wanted to kind of show it off. This was on my music festival island, so it is very kind of bright, and there is lots of pops of color here and there with the flowers and different things. There's like an area where there is like a hammock, a little music thing, a ukulele. There's other areas where there's just like a little seating area, even like a yoga spot as well, a washing area. So it just goes to show that even though you have kind of lots of houses in together, you can still give the little houses all of their own little personalities, which I love, but hopefully this will help inspire you as well. Number 12 is a mushroom farm. This is on my farm court island, so there is farms everywhere, and you can literally have farms coming out of your ears for villager yards, but this one I just want to show off because it was a very tight space, so you don't have to go to town and have like a huge space. One of the ways that kind of does help save space is by having the farm plots go lengthways, so you don't actually have to think about how wide you need it. So it did kind of help and allow me to like separate off the area quite well. There is kind of a little area over on the right hand side of the house as well, where I just put down some little bit of autumny goodness with some balloons and the little tablecloth there. But I think the mushroom farm is a great one. Just mix and match all those different heights, all the different mushroom items. Don't forget to drop some mushrooms as well. I love a mushroom farm. It's so good. If you have a villager home that you've placed near to some water, you can definitely use that to your advantage. So here I decided to give this whole villager yard a bit of a fishing theme. So there is some like fishing areas as well as like a little pond. This was a kind of a rock pool design, which I then took and put on the yard as well, just to make sure that I was using it more. But obviously there are custom designs that are ponds as well, or you could put in a tiny little pond in the yard if you wanted to. And then there's just so many little details as well. There is a little bit of a workspace, some like little fish put down. Just really think about what items work. Obviously the fishing rod stand and the fish drying rack work great too. Sticking with the water theme, why not think about putting some villager homes in a swamp? So in this swamp area, I actually have 2 villager homes, and although they're not kind of swampy decor immediately outside the house, there is some like chairs and things just to make it feel a bit yardy. They are pretty much slap bang in the middle of a swamp, so it does work nicely. Don't forget about like all the foliage, so lots of flowers. Obviously I've used lots of wheat fields here, and bugs as well. So many bugs. You're going to find them in a swamp, so why not have them in your villager yard area? Just a really cute, and it's also a great area to like take up a lot of space. If you're like, what do I do with this, then definitely think about adding just a little swamp moment on your island. Number 15 is a dog yard. This was for, I think it was for Goldie. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was like, I don't know what to do with this yard. There isn't a huge area. So we went with the dog yard. So there's a few little dog toys, a little dog kennel, obviously a coprolite for reasons, which I don't need to explain. And I just thought it was a cute take. I've not really seen many people do this, so I think it is quite a unique kind of little yard idea. This next yard was for either Bo or Eric. Again, I cannot remember whose yard is who, but this was more of a workshop take on a yard. I wanted something a little bit more kind of rougher edged. Not everything has to be like a super cute, super pretty yard, and there is so many good items in the game that really call for this. So adding in like a little bit of a shed moment, maybe even like a little workstation, a DIY station is a great way to go, and you can definitely mix and match, play with different colors. This was red because that was the theme for this island, but just adding in accent colors if you want to works nicely too for this area. This next one is a bookshop. This is kind of on the other side of the bakery that I showed you at the beginning, and this is why it looks quite similar. We do have those walls here again. Everything is very pink, but I thought it would be nice to have like a bakery and then on the other side a bookshop. So we've got lots of stools all filled with books, some bags, some open books. Just there's lots of book items, so why not go to town and use them all? There is even a bookcase here as well, just to kind of feel like that's the back half of the bookshop where it is behind the till. So I like that. And again, you have the road leading out. This time I turned the menu around just so that it was kind of blank and you couldn't really see what it's going on, because it's not a dessert shop, so we don't need to see the dessert. But either way, a bookshop is a great way to go for a villager yard, and I think there's definitely quite a few villagers in the game that are more kind of booky, that scream like that they would enjoy reading anyway. This next area was on another sprinkle island, and it's very yellow and green, but this one I decided to put a little bit of a decking down. I don't do that very often because I don't really like the way that it feels chunky, but this one I've kind of broken it up a bit to make it feel more kind of, I don't know, a little bit more interesting perhaps. But if you prefer to do decking blocky, that's fine too. But this is a little bit of a barbecue area with the 2.0 items. I definitely don't use this outdoor kitchen enough, so I wanted it to be like a nice space where someone can fish and then go ahead and cook it up on the grill straight away. There's a little bit of music and also some drinks around, so it would be the perfect place to spend a sunny afternoon. Number 19 is perfect for a farm court island, or maybe even just you're just a huge fan of horses. That's okay too, because this is a stable build. I decided to incorporate a villager yard here. It was a horse villager. Again, don't ask me which one it was because I can't remember. I'm terrible with villagers. You should know this by now. But this whole area, I decided to have the stable build over in the right hand corner, and then the villager home on the left, and then the whole space out front of it. I just wanted lots of kind of horse related things. So we've got like hay bales, the ride on horses as well. The little details that I love about this is like the dropped apple for the food for the horses, and the custom designs for the stables are really good as well. So if you're thinking, what can I do on my farm court island, then maybe this would be a good one to go. Number 20 is a house in the sand dunes. This probably won't work for everyone, but if you're wanting something a bit different, then I definitely think this is that. This is Tammy's house, and I remember that because I didn't like her as a villager, but I loved her house because it was all yellow, and this was obviously before you could even change the villager exteriors. So this is what I came up with. There's lots of bugs, lots of foliage, and there would have been wheat fields here if we had that. I would definitely add them in now, but a lot of the models, somewhere to sit as well, just to chill and relax out in the sand dunes on a nice evening. That would be idyllic. I said earlier that farms make perfect villager yards, and they do, and here is another example of that. Here is a potato farm. As you can see, this one is a little bit different from the one earlier. I do have lots of little details here that kind of tie in the farm feel, so I did even use a custom designed umbrella, which I love, placing down the shovel, and there is a little seating area out front of the home as well, just for somewhere for the villager to relax, so it's just not all the farm hard work all day long. They can have a sit down, and maybe they deserve a break too. This next one is another kind of Christmassy build, but I just wanted to make like the perfect kind of cozy log cabin for my resident rep on this island. So that's what I've kind of done here. And I even added a storefront on the left hand side to add in all the firewood, because those are cold winter days. You need lots of wood to keep your house warm. So that's what I went with. Another little seating area. And then there is a little nod to Christmas with the snow globe, because who can say no to a snow globe on top of a barrel? It looks cute. This is more about the trees and the flowers and the custom designs here. There's holly kind of strewn everywhere, but I kind of love the way this looks, and it does feel very Christmassy and wintry, which is perfect. So this yard has a few different things. I do love the entrance over into the yard with the bridge, first of all, on a diagonal. I love the way that that looks. And then there is a washing area, laundry area at the back. And then there is also this art space over here, which is just a cute little setup, and it could work not being in a villager yard. Placing down the portrait, placing down those art bits and pieces works really nicely. Again, it's very spring, so there's lots of flowers dotted around. There's the occasional duck and puddle. I just like the way that it looks, and it was perfect for Patty. I think she deserves a yard like this, a nice big yard. I said earlier that there are some villagers that definitely give me bookish vibes, and Pippi is one of them, and this is her yard. This is what I created for her. This whole neighborhood was quite square. It was quite kind of really well kind of drawn out with lots of boxes, and everyone had their own individual space. So I needed to make use of the square space. So to do that, in the back left, I added the bookshelves, and then there's a cozy little coffee reading area in the front. The beach ball is a bit random, but this was on a coastal island, so we'll just excuse that if you don't want that there. You definitely don't need that. But yeah, I love this one for Pippi for sure. Number 25 was a little bit of a house on a hill. I did this more, and I will show you that later, but I like the way that there's like a little bit of a secret entrance up here. There's not a whole lot going on up here, but there is a pond, there's some natural things like flowers, a little bit of a seating area, and there is a viewpoint as well, which leads out to another build that I did. But I just like the idea of having like villages and homes on different kind of heights, playing around with them, sinking them down, raising them up, just exploring with the different terraforming is definitely a nice way to make something feel a little bit different than just having like everything on the same level. So definitely don't be scared to play around with height when it comes to creating villager homes. Number 26 is another winter island staple. This is a Christmas tree farm. I mean, you could do a tree farm for any island, but I just love it on winter island specifically. For this one, I decided to incorporate a villager yard into it. So I used the tree farm up front, and then at the back we have the villager home, and there's like a little decking area with some Christmassy decor items just to kind of tie in the whole build. I like to use a variety of different things when I'm doing tree farms, so mix in the actual trees, change up their sizes, chop some down, maybe even add in some cypress trees as well. So I just feel like that adds a whole new depth to your tree farm. This next one is another very, very pink one, and this is a bit of a take on an apiary, but it doesn't really have too much honey. I just wanted to have this whole yard just filled with beehives and flowers and wheat fields and a few trees as well, just to kind of make it look a little bit cute. It's just a little bit of a different take on a flower field. Through the middle, there is this really nice like little log stump walkway because I didn't want anything too heavy. The main path on this island was a bit of of a flower path, and I feel like if I had gone in with that, it would have been quite heavy. But yeah, there is flowers everywhere. There's a little bit of a picket fence back there. There's a garden wagon and even a windmill. It's kind of a little bit sunken down, which I kind of love. I love that, the way that that looks as well. Number 28 is probably one of my favorite homes I've ever done, and this took so much terraforming. This was my resident rep home on my sprinkle island of Daffodil, and I wanted to put a little house on the hill, and that's what I did. So I went in with the house up top, and then to get up there you need to access the ladder, and then there's this whole walkway, and surrounding the whole house there is this terraforming with little waterways, lots of trees and foliage to make it feel like a natural valley, and then it just all kind of came together. It's really nicely done. It is quite a big build, so bear that in mind if you want to try and recreate something like this, but I think it's really worth it, and it's something a bit different. If you do visit the dream address, there is just my resident rep stuck up on the hill though, but it is funny. It's cute though. Up next we have a party, because I need no excuse to throw a party apparently, so that is what is happening here. It's not a particularly themed party, but why not just have a get together outside of your resident rep home? And obviously there are some key party staples that you need. So we need balloons, a little bit of music, and some drinks and food, of course. Everything here kind of has a little bit of an autumnal twist to it, so it's all kind of orangey, which kind of works with the rest of the island, but you could amend this to however you want, whatever works for your particular area. You don't even have to do it as a villager yard. I just like the way that this kind of ties it in. It was kind of, for me, this was the last build that I did on this island, so it was like a little bit of a celebration for finishing. This next kind of yard area came out of a need for having not a lot of space, but a lot of houses to place. So this is what I came up with. I decided to put two houses pretty close together, and the nice thing about this is that they can actually share the yard space. So in the middle here I've put a paddling pool, and then either side there's some other little decor pieces. On one side you've got a basketball hoop, and then on the other side there's a little mini laundry area. This is really nice if you're going for a heavy kind of coloured themed island, so you can get all of those colours kind of mixed in together, and I think it works nicely. I just added some fence along the back to kind of section off the area as well, but yeah, why not have a little mini neighbourhood all on your island? It works lovely. This next one is another one that is perfect for a farm court island, and this one kind of incorporates a chicken coop into like a yard area as well. So it's very autumnal. I wanted a nice little cozy area out the front, so there's a nice little seating area. There's some kind of potted plants as well, and then the coop is here as well. I love this coop. The simple panels are great. The chicken hats and the egg baskets, I love those custom designs as well, and I feel like they really helped finish off the area. I also dropped some little round mushrooms as well, just to kind of fit it in. If you have a chicken villager, then this is the perfect kind of yard that you need. Number 32 is a carrot farm, and this I just want to show off how you can use kind of yards over split levels. So this one I wanted it to kind of overspill onto the lower ground because it's right in the corner of my island. So I have some little carrot patches up top directly in front of the villager home, and then on the lower floor I kind of continued it, so it kind of path snakes around and then continues down onto it, and it makes a nice kind of distance shot as well. So I think it's worthwhile thinking about incorporating yards over split levels. It doesn't just have to be one level, it can be multiple, and you can definitely play with what you're incorporating over those two levels as well. This next one is another kind of cute, quite simple yard. It's got a little bit of everything. We've got a little tiny sewing area on the floor, and I really love that custom design with the embroidery hoop. It is so cute. And then over on the right hand side there is like a shed, the little greenhouse situation, and also just some random bits. These type of yards are great if you don't have a lot of space. I think that you can just go to town, put whatever you want in them, and they will hopefully turn out looking pretty cute. This one is another example of kind of like a mini neighborhood with two houses, and using the space in the middle to kind of make a cohesive kind of way between the two houses. So here I decided to go for like just a cozy seating area with the wood partitions, some of the plant partitions as well, and then just lots of sofas in the middle and snacks, because as you can see there is Bo, he needs all the snacks. So that's really what I want for and what the inspiration was for this one, and I think it works. For number 35, this is kind of the opposite one of what I showed you earlier on my coastal town. This is more of like just a cute setup. We've got a little tea moment with the blanket and also a little washing line there as well. I just feel like those are kind of yard staples if you're kind of thinking about, I don't really know what to do. You don't have to have a particular theme, a particular idea. Just go in with what's cute and what works for you and what is kind of a guaranteed thing that you will find in a villager yard. So just a cute little extra one. This one is quite a big yard. This is a whole sunflower field slash flower crown making area all in one yard. So this area is sunken down and it was quite an odd shape. I wasn't really sure what to do with it. So what I decided to do was kind of snake a dirt path in and out the area, and amongst that I used all of the sunflower umbrellas to fill out the area, and then directly in front of the home there is this little flower crown making station, which of course I carried on with the sunflower theme, so there's lots of sunflower items here. Everything, I just wanted it to feel super fall-like, so we have lots of kind of autumnal aspects to it, lots of leaves, lots of the trees, even the autumn weeds, because they are a great addition as well. But I do love this yard. I wish we would have real-life sunflowers in the game, but this is what we came up with for that. Callie is one of my favourite villagers. She is perfect for spring core, and that is one of my favourite themes as well. So I wanted to give her a really nice yard, but I wanted to play around with shape for this yard. So I decided to make like a circle area with the path. So this path is gorgeous and it deserves to be the center stage. And then in the center, I just wanted a really nice kind of cozy, but it's also like light cozy. So there's lots of greens and whites here, and make this little seating area. There is some random bits and bobs outside of her house because otherwise it just felt a bit empty. So I went in with random clusters of items as well, just to fill out the area. And there is some random boots as well, because you need to take your boots off before you go inside. You can't have dirty floors. But yeah, this area, I just loved it. Again, it was a bit of an awkward shape, but I think I made the most of what was available to me. Speaking of awkward shapes, and this one I did not have a lot of room at all. This is another resident rep home, and this was on my 1.0 coastal island, but I love the way that it came out. It kind of had to be a little bit higgledy-piggledy, so there is a lot going on here, and this might not be for everyone, but it is very cluttered. I used the cutout standees here. I was going to call them the grass standees, they're not that, to act as a fence. And then we have a little picnic area. There's also a table, there's some flowers, and then over on the left hand side, because there is an incline directly down to the beach, there is a little outdoor shower moment as well, which I thought is something a little bit different. You don't see that everywhere, but I like the idea of that because you can come straight up the hill from the beach and straight in the shower and wash off all that sand. But yeah, lots of blues and whites, lots of different paths going on here, because I was trying to experiment with having a nice thin path, because again, there wasn't a lot of room here. This next one is again on my island of Buttercup, very pink as you can see, but this one I wanted more of a structured flower farm, flower garden. So we have the house on the left hand side where there is like this little bit of plaza area, and because of all the flowers I wanted to kind of keep in with the potted plants, etc. So that's all on that side, and then on the right hand side there is the garden itself, which is just this whole area of dirt which is filled with the flowers. There's like the shovel, the watering can, and even the little greenhouse there at the back. I just thought it was just a nice little kind of touch there. Keeping on with the flower gardens and the overgrown, this is my take on what I would do for Fauna, and I think it is the perfect yard for her. This isn't just solely flowers this time. There is lots of mixtures of things in here, like the wheat fields, there's a covered wagon, there's some trees, and there's also some items at the back like the windmill. There is of course her little tea drinking area with some pie as well, because who can say no to pie? But these colors are just perfect for autumn, and it was so hard for me not to want to do this because I think it's perfect for her as a villager. And there are a few different villages that have this style of house which I really like. The path is really nice as well, because I broke up the dirt path with the little wood planks. It's not always the best way to go just to have one straight path. So here I decided just adding a little bit of an accent wood piece would be a nice way to go. Number 41 is Shep's yard, and this was on my kind of farm core island way back when, and this, I just wanted a very chill area. Shep is a very chill boy, very chill dog, so that's what we've got. We've got the hammock on the left hand side, then there's a little campfire area as well. I can just imagine him toasting some marshmallows. There is also a little dog kennel area. I don't tend to use these items very much, but I think it kind of fitted in with the whole kind of area, and it just made something like fill out a little bit more and just helped kind of add something extra. I could have put flowers there, but I decided not to. This is another really cute yard from my Spring Court Island. I kind of wanted a few different things going on here. I knew I wanted an outdoor bathtub area, which I love. I just think that's a super kind of relaxing idea. So we have the outdoor bathtub with the party lights, a little drink and some candles as well. I just think that's super relaxing, right? There is also a little sofa area up there as well, just so you can sit out, enjoy the sun. And because I was like, oh, I don't want it to just all be flowers, I decided to add in some sugarcane because I never really use that as a farm, and it actually is really nice. I like the height on the sugarcane and everything like that. But yeah, this is kind of a nice shape for a yard. I like this kind of size. I feel like you can do a nice amount with that. So if you're thinking about how much space you should dedicate to a yard, this is a good amount. Similarly to Shep, this is for Punchy, and again, I very much took the vibes of Punchy. He's very chill, he's very relaxed, a little bit kind of granddaddy. So that's what I wanted to do for his yard. This is on my coastal island, so it's very close to the beach. So I did want to get some surfing aspect in there. So there is a little surfboard area. There's also a little bit of a barbecue and some pie and some food and a little hammock so he can have a chill at the end of the day. Because it's hot, there is also a fan. I think I was more wanting to use a fan because it's blue and white just to keep in with the theme. But I think you can fit a lot in this space as well, and there's just a few different like custom designs as well just to mix it up, make it interesting. But overall, I think this one has perfect Punchy vibes. This is probably one of the smallest yards I've done, and I just wanted to show that you can fit quite a lot of stuff even if it is in a tiny space. So this was kind of at the edge of my kind of garden area for this island. I wanted like an overgrown area and also a town area, so this was just in the corner, and I managed to get a tiny little picnic area in and also some like nods to Easter. It wasn't an Easter island, but I just really wanted to use that tree because I felt like the whole cherry blossom season worked nicely, so I added in the Easter tree and also the bunny rabbit. But I think it came across quite cute. It doesn't look like it was an afterthought, which is one of my main things. Like if I'm just having tiny spaces, I want those tiny spaces to look adorable as well. If you have lots of chunkier kind of straight roads on your island and you want to have the houses off of them, don't forget to pay a little bit of attention to your villager homes. I would highly recommend setting them back off the road like I've done this, just a few like steps back, and then you can actually have a little bit of decoration in the middle between the house and the road, which I think just makes it feel more realistic. There's not many places where you're going to find a house directly onto the road, so I think that kind of it works nicer that way than just having it directly onto the path. So here we just have a little cute seating area, and there is just some flowers. Again, it's very small, but making those small spaces work for village yards is very important, especially when you get to the point where you're running out of space on your island. It's really crucial. This is an autumnal resident rep home, so I really wanted to scream autumn with everything that I was placing down here. I didn't have a particular goal in mind or a theme, but what I wanted to do was kind of incorporate all those things that you would think with fall. So vegetables, the harvest, I wanted to get that in. I wanted to add in lots of fall colors by having a little mini flower garden as well. I think that that's just a nice filler space. And it is a farmhouse, or to me it is a farmhouse anyway, so I thought having a nice kind of traditional farmhouse setup with the table and the chair out front would just be a nice little filler as well. It wasn't the best way that I could have designed this and laid this all out, but I think it did kind of work out in the end. It was kind of like a little bit of a last minute placement because I was running out of space as well. So these yards, sometimes they're created out of necessity when you're getting to the end of your island and you're not sure what to do. Here is another yard from my first ever coastal town, and as you can see, it's got that square shape again, and this time this is very different. So these have all been kind of the same size, but you can see how many different things you can do with them just depending on what you want to add in at that particular time. So this was for Daisy, and I decided to give Daisy a nice little seating area so she can have dinner, tea with her friends if she wanted to, and then on the right hand side, just to mix it up a bit, I just added in this little flower area. And I also added in some butterflies and the garden, the bird bath as well, because I just thought that that was a nice touch. But from the front, you just have the snaking little path leading up to it. I think it's just a nice little yard for Daisy, and I'm not really sure what else she would want, to be honest. Here is another example of what to do if you want your house close to a structured path, and this one was just a really simple, kind of quite like clean cut yard area. So I've just added in a little table with a salad. Really only went with the salad because it was green. You don't find many green cakes in Animal Crossing, so that was the option that I had. And then on the right hand side, there is a little bit of a garden area as well with the little mini greenhouse, and again just flowers and some fence to section off the area. I find it hard to section off areas, but using fences and cliffs is probably the best way to go, but I don't tend to use a lot of fences and then have something behind it, which was a bit of a weird thing for me, but I think it is quite common amongst decorators in Animal Crossing. I don't know why I have such a weird issue with it. Number 49 is an autumnal take on Callie's house, and this was an outdoor cooking area, which I really wanted to use the stonework kitchen because it is a furniture item that I don't use enough, so I really wanted to use it here. And we have a little bit of a seating area where people can come and enjoy the food. There is a little bit more of a rustic edge to this because this is definitely more of a forest island, so it's got a lot more woody tones to it. There is a hammock and a little radio over there with, of course, my favorite barrel. But again, this is a good size yard. This is a good amount of space to work with. You can fit quite a lot in here. You can do a few different things, but overall I feel like this was very fitting with the island itself. And finally, at number 50, we have a cute little house for Sylvana. Again, this one is all about the tiny details. So we have a little tiny laundry area. So think about getting in that clothesline, maybe some folded clothes, even an ironing board if you want to. And then there is just the dormer out front. You will notice that has been a common theme throughout my neighborhoods and my villager homes as we've been going through these. But I hope you like this. It's another little way to kind of make use of that tiny little amount of space that you've got. So there we go. There are 50 villager yard ideas. I hope you enjoyed looking at these with me. I hope it gave you some inspiration. Let me know what your favorite way is to decorate a villager yard in the comments, and have a great rest of your day. I shall see you again soon. Bye bye.